Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal from the very person you thought would always stand by you? Your own mother? Imagine preparing for months, dreaming about a holiday that was supposed to be filled with warmth, laughter, and family. Instead, you're told that the most precious part of your life, your baby, isn't welcome. This is the story of Clara, a young mother whose heart was shattered when her mom chose her new boyfriend over her own grandchild. Clara had just turned 25, and life had been a whirlwind since she welcomed her daughter, Lily, 7 months earlier. Those sleepless nights, the late-night feedings, the soft coos and tiny hands clutching her fingers, all of it had reshaped Clara's entire world. She was no longer just a daughter, no longer just herself. She was a mother, and her little girl had become the center of her universe. This upcoming holiday season meant more to Clara than any before. It was Lily's first Thanksgiving, a milestone she had pictured in her head countless times. She imagined arriving at her mother's home, relatives gathering around, everyone smiling as Lily wore a tiny dress with a little bow on her head. The smell of roasted turkey filling the air, laughter echoing across the table, and Lily being passed around with adoration. Clara wanted nothing more than to share that joy with her family. But that dream came crashing down one ordinary afternoon. The phone rang. It was her mother, Diane. At first, Clara smiled, balancing Lily on her hip as she answered. "Hey, Mom! Are you excited for Thanksgiving? I can't wait to bring Lily over." The silence on the other end felt heavier than usual. Then Diane cleared her throat, her voice careful but cold. "Clara, there's something I need to talk to you about. I don't think it's a good idea for you to bring Lily this year." The words didn't make sense at first. Clara thought she misheard. "Wait, what do you mean?" "Of course I'm bringing her. She's my daughter." But Diane pressed on, almost rehearsed. "It's just... Frank doesn't really like children. He thinks having a baby there might make the dinner stressful. You know how babies can be, crying, fussing. He doesn't want the evening ruined, Frank." Her mother's new boyfriend, a man Clara had met only twice, who had been in Diane's life for less than a year, was suddenly dictating whether Lily was allowed at her grandmother's table. Clara felt her stomach drop. Anger and disbelief tangled in her chest. She tried to laugh it off, her voice trembling. "Mom, are you serious? This is Lily's first holiday. She's your granddaughter." But Diane didn't waver. "I'm just saying, maybe you could find a babysitter. That way you can still come and enjoy the evening with everyone else." Clara's hand shook as she held the phone. The thought of sitting at a Thanksgiving table while her baby stayed home with a stranger was unimaginable. She wasn't just hurt, she was furious. "No, Mom, absolutely not. I will not spend Thanksgiving without my daughter." The line went silent for a moment before Diane's tone shifted, sharp and accusing. "So that's it? You're choosing your baby over your family?" Clara froze. Did her mother really not understand? "She is my family," Clara shot back, her voice breaking. "She's the most important part of my family." That night, Clara sat in her living room, Lily asleep in her crib, and felt a pain deeper than anything she had expected. Her mother had made a choice, and it wasn't her. It wasn't Lily. It was Frank. The betrayal dug into Clara's chest, leaving her questioning everything. As the holiday approached, Clara watched friends post about excitement and family gatherings while she wrestled with loneliness and disappointment. Should she cave in and go alone just to keep the peace? Or should she stand firm, even if it meant spending Thanksgiving without her mom? Each day, the pressure grew heavier. Diane sent passive-aggressive texts. reminding her of family unity and guilt-tripping her for being stubborn. But Clara knew the truth. This wasn't about family unity. It was about control, and about a man who had no right to decide who belonged at the table. Yet the decision wasn't easy. Clara loved her mother even after this. A part of her wanted to believe Diane would come to her senses, that she would see how absurd and cruel this demand was. But as the days counted down to Thanksgiving, Clara realized she couldn't change her mom. The only thing she could control was her own choice, her own boundaries. And that choice, though painful, would shape not just one holiday, but every holiday to come. The morning after that painful phone call, Clara woke up to the soft coos of Lily babbling in her crib. Normally, those sounds brought her comfort, but today, they only reminded her of the storm brewing inside. She scooped up her baby, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "You're all I need." But deep down, Clara felt the ache of losing something she never thought she'd lose, the unconditional support of her own mother. She decided to call her older brother, Marcus, hoping he would understand. Maybe he could reason with their mom. When he picked up, Clara hesitated, then spilled everything. The phone call, Frank's disdain for children, and her mom's shocking request that she find a babysitter for her 7-month-old. There was silence on the line, then Marcus sighed. "Look, Clara, you know Mom. When she's with someone new, she bends over backward to make them happy. She probably just doesn't want to rock the boat." Clara clenched her jaw. So she'd rather disappoint her daughter and exclude her granddaughter than upset a guy she's dated less than a year? Marcus tried to calm her down, but his words only deepened the wound. "Maybe just compromise. It's only one dinner. You could leave Lily with a sitter for a few hours." Clara's voice rose, tears stinging her eyes. "She's not a pet I can leave behind, Marcus. She's my child, my baby. What kind of mother would I be if I agreed to that?" The conversation ended with no resolution, leaving Clara feeling more alone than ever. As Thanksgiving crept closer, Diane's behavior grew colder. Texts became sharper, filled with guilt-laden phrases like, "You're tearing the family apart." One evening, Clara even received a voicemail where her mother's voice cracked with fake sorrow. "I just wanted one nice holiday, Clara. One dinner without chaos. But I guess that's too much to ask." Clara replayed the message twice, each time feeling her stomach twist tighter. Was she really being selfish, as her mom suggested? Or was she protecting what mattered most? Meanwhile, Frank's presence loomed like a shadow. Clara couldn't shake the image of him sitting smugly at her mother's table, his wishes obeyed, while Lily's place remained empty. She remembered the brief moments she'd spent around him, the way he looked at Lily with thinly veiled annoyance, the way he avoided conversation when Clara mentioned motherhood. He wasn't cruel outright, but his indifference was chilling. And now, that indifference had cost Clara her seat at the family table. One night, as Lily slept peacefully, Clara scrolled through her phone. She stumbled upon a parenting forum and found stories eerily similar to hers. Mothers alienated by their own parents for the sake of new partners. One comment stood out. "Sometimes family isn't blood. It's the people who show up, who make space for you and your children." Clara's eyes welled up. Was it time to accept that her mom had chosen her path and that she needed to carve out her own? The day before Thanksgiving, Diane called again. Clara answered, her voice tired. "Mom, I'm not coming without Lily." "That's final." Diane's tone hardened instantly. "Then don't come at all. If you can't respect my wishes, maybe you shouldn't be here." The words sliced deep, but for the first time, Clara felt a strange clarity. Her mother wasn't asking. She was demanding. And Clara realized she didn't owe obedience to someone who disregarded her daughter. So, with trembling hands, Clara made a bold decision. She called her best friend Emily and asked if she could spend Thanksgiving with her family instead. Emily's voice lit up with warmth. "Of course. Bring Lily. We'd love to have you both." Honestly, the more the merrier, Clara's chest eased for the first time in days. Maybe this year wouldn't be the picture-perfect holiday she had imagined. But perhaps it could still be beautiful, different, but filled with genuine love. That night, Clara set Lily's tiny holiday outfit on the dresser. A soft cream dress with golden buttons and a little headband. As she smoothed the fabric, she whispered, "We'll make our own traditions, sweetheart. Ones where you're always welcome." She still ached, of course. She still wished her mom would call back, apologize, say it had all been a misunderstanding. But as the clock ticked closer to the holiday, Clara began to realize that sometimes the family you create, the friends you lean on, the child you nurture, is stronger than the family that lets you down. Yet even with this newfound resolve, Clara couldn't shake the thought, would her mother regret this? Would she one day realize the cost of pushing her daughter and granddaughter away? And if that day came, would it already be too late? Thanksgiving morning arrived. The air was crisp, the streets alive with families carrying dishes, children laughing, and homes glowing with warmth. But inside Clara's small apartment, the atmosphere was different. She tried to keep her spirits high, dressing Lily in her tiny cream-colored dress, placing the golden headband gently on her soft hair. She smiled at her daughter and whispered, "You look perfect." Yet behind the smile, Clara's heart ached. She had imagined this day so differently. In her mind, she saw herself pulling into her mother's driveway, greeted by familiar faces, walking in with Lily, and hearing everyone gush over the baby's first holiday. But instead, she was preparing to head to Emily's house. A place warm with friendship, yes, but also a reminder of what she had lost. As Clara packed Lily's diaper bag, her phone buzzed. A text from her mother flashed on the screen. "Happy Thanksgiving. Wish you were here." Clara's hands trembled. Was this an olive branch? Or was it just another manipulation to make her feel guilty? She typed a response, then deleted it. Her chest tightened as she put the phone face down. When Clara arrived at Emily's home, the door swung open, and Emily's family greeted her with hugs, laughter, and genuine excitement to meet Lily. Clara felt the heaviness in her chest loosen just a little. Lily was passed around the table, cooed at, adored by people who weren't even blood relatives, but treated her like family. For the first time in days, Clara's smile was real. Still, as the evening went on, moments of grief pierced through. While everyone raised a glass in thanks, Clara couldn't stop thinking about her mom's table across town. Was Diane sitting beside Frank, pretending everything was perfect? Was there an empty chair where Clara and Lily should have been? Did anyone even ask about them? At one point, Emily leaned over and whispered, "I'm glad you're here. You and Lily belong in a place where you're loved without conditions." Clara's throat tightened. She blinked back tears, nodding, because those words struck the very core of her pain. Her own mother's love suddenly felt conditional, dependent on pleasing a man who wanted nothing to do with her child. Later that night, after returning home, Clara laid Lily in her crib and sat in the quiet glow of the nightlight. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was a voicemail. She pressed play. Her mother's voice filled the room. "Clara, I don't know why you're being so difficult. Frank just wanted a peaceful dinner. I hope one day you'll understand. You hurt me today." Clara closed her eyes, gripping the phone. A part of her wanted to cry, another part wanted to scream. But mostly, she felt numb. She whispered to herself, "I didn't hurt you, Mom. You hurt me." For the first time, she said it aloud, and it felt like truth. That night, Clara realized something important. Her holidays didn't have to be defined by rejection. They could be filled with laughter, with Lily's giggles, with friends who showed up, and with love that didn't demand compromise. Yet, even with that realization, the wound of her mother's choice ran deep. Clara wondered if Diane even realized what she had lost that day. Not just a holiday, but the trust of her daughter. And as Clara drifted to sleep, holding on to Lily's tiny hand, she promised herself this: "We'll build something better. Even if it's just us two, we'll make memories that no one can take away." The weeks after Thanksgiving felt strange for Clara. On one hand, she was proud of herself for standing firm. She hadn't abandoned her daughter, she hadn't bowed to pressure. But on the other hand, she carried a heaviness that was hard to describe. Her relationship with her mother had always been complicated, but never like this. This time, the fracture felt permanent. Diane continued reaching out, but every message had the same tone. Not love, not apology, just blame. "You're tearing us apart. Frank just wants peace. Why are you punishing me?" Each word chipped away at Clara's heart, but also strengthened her resolve. She realized her mother wasn't listening. She wasn't trying to understand. She was only trying to win. One night, Clara sat by the window with a cup of tea while Lily slept soundly in her crib. She thought about the future. Christmas, birthdays, milestones yet to come. Would her mother ever be part of them? Or would every occasion be clouded by tension and control? The thought brought tears to her eyes, but then she remembered Thanksgiving night. Emily's family, their laughter, the way they welcomed Lily without hesitation. And suddenly, Clara understood something vital. Family isn't just who you're born to. Family is who shows up. So Clara made a choice. She decided to step back from her mother, at least for now. Not to punish, not to be cruel, but to protect herself and Lily. She limited the calls, ignored the guilt-tripping messages, and focused instead on building a life where Lily grew up surrounded by love, not rejection. It wasn't easy. Sometimes Clara missed her mom deeply. Sometimes she caught herself reaching for the phone, ready to dial, ready to forgive, ready to pretend everything was fine. But then she would hear Lily's laughter, or feel her tiny fingers wrap around her own, and she'd remember why she couldn't go back. Not unless her mother changed. Months passed, and Clara and Lily thrived. They started new traditions, Sunday walks in the park, baking cookies on cold afternoons, cozy movie nights wrapped in blankets. Clara's friends became her chosen family, always ready to hold Lily, always ready to make room for them both. And slowly, the ache began to fade. But every now and then, Clara would think of her mother. She'd wonder if Diane sat alone, if she regretted the choices she had made. She'd wonder if Frank was still around, and whether he was really worth losing her daughter and granddaughter over. The questions had no answers, and Clara learned to live with that. One evening, as the sun dipped low and Lily giggled in her high chair, Clara whispered, "You'll never have to wonder if you're wanted. Not with me, not ever." And in that moment, she felt stronger than she ever had before. Because sometimes the hardest lesson life teaches is this: love should never come with conditions. Real love accepts, protects, and makes room, even for the smallest voices at the table. And though Clara's heart still carried scars, She knew she had chosen the right path. She had chosen her daughter. She had chosen truth. And most of all, she had chosen to build a future filled with the kind of love she herself had always longed for. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.